everybody? Welcome to the fourth Twin Tuition podcast with Pale Twin here. Today we got Luke, Chris, myself, and Lance sitting in Luke's apartment here, like we usually do when we film these things. So today, specifically, the main theme is we've been together as a band for a year, so we're gonna kind of revisit some highs and lows of that, and we've got some news and updates coming as well, some cool things, and we're always trying to stay busy. We're doing a pretty good job of staying busy. So yeah. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great year. You can never plan that far ahead, in my opinion. You can try, but I couldn't be happier with how this last year has gone. You said earlier that we have stayed busy, and that is definitely not a lie. A lot of different elements, between tracking, practicing, getting out and getting shots and all that stuff. It's been a lot of fun, but it's kind of crazy to think that where exactly I don't know if I can nail down a first day. You know what I mean? The first day of Pale Twin.
I think I remember a quote-unquote first day, but I don't remember it well. And I feel like we all kind of met up at my place, and we were sitting there with the old drummer and Harrison and you and I and Chris, and we were talking about a direction or something like that. I think we were even still trying to figure out what we were gonna call the band. It was between Event Horizon and Pale Twin. I'm glad we went with Pale Twin.
I think, with those first few practices, the thing I remember most about it was, so I remember everything back from, vaguely at least, I remember vaguely everything back from when I first met Luke, him just sitting in this exact room about where he was actually, and just basically grilling me on questions about my the band, the direction that, or the other members, the direction that they were going in. And then he asked me to play a few songs to show what I could do, and I remember I was a little bit freaked out because again, it was the first time that I ever really played with anyone in a band setting, and I left feeling a little bit worried. And then turns out they he saw some potential in me, and then I met you guys and I was feeling the same exact way.
Turns out Chris is my neighbor. I think I've said that a bunch of times, but it's crazy that you live right down the street from me, that it worked out like that. I've actually walked to your house with my amp in my hands before because of how close we live. Yeah, I mean, it's literally probably 0.2 miles.
We have some crazy coincidences in this band. We don't have time to get into all of them, but some of the things that, I mean, there's no way you could replicate some of the things that have brought this band together.
2 years ago, I door dashed to this apartment complex before I met any of you guys. It was wild. But I came in late, obviously, with Kevin only a few months ago. But it was a little similar to Chris. Kevin saw the post on Facebook, and he texted me one night. He's like, "Hey, you want to go do this?" I just sort of showed up, and I was in a basement with some strangers playing music, which I'm not a stranger to. but it's always it's like staring down a deer in the wild. You just sort of sizing each other up. But after that wore off, it's been a blast.
I'd like to talk a little bit. So let's get into the sequence of how things happened. So we had I think it was the first 3 songs. Like, we had all 5 tracked, but I think it was the first 3 were released. And then for the 4th and 5th is when we made the member changes, right?
Oh, no, we did the first 5.
Before we made the member changes?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then that's when Kevin and Lance came on. Chris has been on since the Giddy Up, same with me and AJ. But like, so we got all of that stuff put together. Here, give me a pause. I'm sorry, I lost my thought.
No, I would just say one of the main things that I would say that's happened over the last year is that we've changed direction, and I think we've kind of found more of the sound that we want to live in. And I don't know that we had that early on. I mean, I'm not saying we've found it and, like, okay, from here on out it's easy sailing, but I feel like I'm more comfortable with where the sound is at and where we're at as a band than I was with the first 5.
I definitely agree. I'm partial to the last 5 over the first 5, for sure.
When we were doing that article, that was the one thing that.
Can you broaden the article?
The Out of the Blue guy that reached out to us.
Yeah, I'm just
Neil.
saying. Yeah,
His name's
for
Neil.
people that haven't read his stuff.
Yeah, I think his article his website is outoftheblue.com, and he reached out to us to do a spotlight on us. But we had to we sent him some info, and I was the one that wrote a lot of it. And when I was thinking about what to write, I was thinking about the sound, and I was just thinking about, you know, where we were at before and where we are now, and how much I feel like we've kind of stepped into our clothes. We fit our clothes better.
I 100% agree with that. Livy and I were talking about this earlier, and some of the words that came up were like emo metal, post-hardcore, like metalcore, like stuff like that. And I do think that that's a lot more of our pocket than when we started, because that wasn't really where we leapt off at.
Yeah, I think we didn't know. Well, like, we were like, we kind of want to be cyberpunk pop, synth wave, something. And then I think, you know, I mean, with the help of, you know, recording and Max and Wes and, you know, just every member here now, I think we kind of established, like, we stopped trying to force ourselves into something. We just kind of started doing what was natural, and it's working.
I remember, this is going back a bit, man. If we're trying to do like a, you know, band lore day of sorts, then this story is all over the place. I can already tell. This story is all over the place. But like back when we first started jamming together, we really didn't know what direction to go at all. Like, we were kind of just basically floundering around trying to find the general sound that we felt comfortable with. And then I remember actually the first thing that we came up with was part of Incandescent that that section that comes right under Bright-Eyed Young Seeker of Hope. That's the one that like that little line actually started off our first like big jam that we did, and then from there we just started building that out into a song, and then from there things started moving. But I remember it was a pretty long startup. At least it felt like that compared to how fast everything else after it started to come along.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one thing about this year that I've been really happy with, and I feel like a lot of this has happened since the like member changes, but I don't think it's exclusive to that because we were doing some of this like right from the jump. But like when I look back on what the band has done in the past year, I can't deny that this is something I'm really happy about. It's like there's a decent amount of animated content like on the page, whether it's AMVs or lyric videos or whatever, and I really like the way that reads, because like a lot of my favorite bands have a lot of that stuff.
Same. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a huge anime fan. But there's definitely some anime shows that I like, and just through being friends with you, I've watched a lot of those AMV channels, and through you I've gotten more into those. I dig it though. I really like it. I think they look good.
Yeah, I think they turned out great. Capture a different group of people, see it, and they might hear the music and check it out as well. So I also had a friend in high school who was pretty into anime. I never caught the bug when I was younger.
Did you never watch like Naruto or anything like that?
A little bit, but I never stuck with it and watched it all, because with those shows there's a lot. But
It is a lot. And I will say, like, I think you can enjoy an AMV for the same reason you enjoy a music video. Like, you don't have to know the lore. I know people act like you do, but a big plus of an AMV is the like edits and the color grading and stuff like that. Like, that's part of what makes a good AMV, is that it's really pretty to look at. You know, a good one anyway.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
Yeah, 100%. So like, and I feel like they capture that well. Same way as like a good visualizer, except I actually think a good AMV does that a little better, just because it's longer.
I have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, I figured. I'm a
visualizer guy.
You got a weird kink with visualizers, but that's okay.
I like them.
So, we're talking about this year. What like period of the year, whether it was like winter, fall, spring, summer, what like do you think the most stuff, like the wheels were really in motion, like when most of the stuff started to happen, like whether you view it as how much we wrote or how much we recorded or whatever? I'm curious, what was our most productive season of this year?
You know how in sports they say the best time, especially in the NFL, the best time to get hot is in December before the playoffs. I feel like we're hot right now. I feel like right now and moving forward, and I'm really not just saying this, that we're actually at the best spot we've ever been right now.
I think for me, I'd have to agree with you that we're doing really good right now. I think the main thing that, like, the point where I'd say we started getting that traction would be about the point where, it would be around the point where Kevin and Lance started to, play with us, when they started to jam with us when they first showed up. I feel like that that completely changed the direction that I felt for the band into something that I think definitely feels very fluid. We have a lot of room to do all sorts of different things with like a large range of influence from multiple different kinds of, different kinds of genres, and 5 musicians who I think, at least from what I've seen, we all have very different directions that we gravitate towards, but we all have some common ground.
Nobody's a dick except for Luke.
Yeah.
No, that's one of the things I've
That's
always
fair.
loved about.
It's fair.
I've loved about playing with Kevin is he can vibe along with pretty much anything I want to do. So if I tell him I want to jam on this melody line, he'll find something to go behind it, whether that's some slower, jazzier chords with like seconds and ninths and stuff that he figures out. I'm just starting to wrap my head around that, but it's crazy. But being flexible like that, it being able to apply it is the good thing. You can play all sorts of shit, but adding it in is the secret sauce, I think, and that's what Kevin does really well.
Did you already do your best season of this year?
I think I think I'd have to agree. Obviously, I've only been present for the past few months. Personally,
Still legitimate.
I think it would still be the same. That last quarter of the year, we were really rocking, and it's feeling good.
Mine is winter as well, if that's what you guys mean. Like I'm really happy with how the end of this year has gone.
Yeah, especially if we're just talking about music, because during the summer and spring, I'm busy doing other stuff a lot. In winter, I'm shut in. I've got really a lot of time to sit down and cook.
Yeah. You seem like a guy who works at like a summer camp. Like
100%.
Like you seem like a guy who like works at like a summer camp in Iowa for the summer.
I'm the 4-H director.
Yeah. But like at a really like loose at the rims like camp where you're just like
Chief in a joint
yeah.
at midnight behind the cabin. Yep.
Singing like campfire songs. Those are the best camps though, low key.
You ever teach a kid how to get his rolling badge? It's part of the scouts. Back when I was
You
in
sound
it.
like Trump. Did you ever teach a scout how to get his rolling badge?
If you can't roll,
If you can't roll, then you can't. Like,
Can't roll, you got no soul.
if you can't roll, then sell your soul. That's
Sell it cheap. But yeah, we're in the best. I really do think we're in the best. God, whenever I listen to the podcast, whenever I go back and listen to the podcast, I always do listen to it once, just because I want to get comfortable to the sound of my own voice. And I'm always like, God, I say and a lot. Bugs me.
I say like all the time. I mean, like some of it really is just being able to like forget about the microphone in your hand.
I feel like if I forget though, then I'm gonna say more. So I had to have the presence of mind.
I don't agree with that. You don't say as much when we're just talking without the microphone.
You might be right.
So like, I really think the goal is to just forget about it.
Yeah.
But no, so I got another one for this year. Do you think next year that we will, and like we haven't talked about our plan for the like very end of this year. Like we haven't talked about our plan for the very end of this year, but do you think that next year we will be able to put out more for the What are you doing?
The amount of times you said like so far.
Wow.
It's hard. It is hard to get out of those like I just said like that makes 6. It's hard to get out of those patterns, but anyway, what were you gonna say, Luke?
I can't remember now.
Were you gonna say? Do you think we'll be able to put out more music than we put out this year, next year?
Yeah, I was basically going to say that I think if our output from this year was one large album, what do you guys think our output for next year is going to be?
I'm really not sure. I think 10 songs a year is really good, though. I mean, that's a hard pace to. It's easy and it's hard. I mean, at the same time, depending on how we go about it. I say this all the time, but there's a million ways to skin a cat.
I would like to see 15. I'm going to be honest. Like, I would like to see 15 a year. That's not like it's not like I'm saying 30. I'm saying 15.
Chris has got a like counter going, so you're gonna have to tell us at the end how many times we've said like. 15 sounds good. I would say bare minimum is 6 for me. Like, if we don't do 6, then we failed.
We fell off.
We failed.
Yeah, I think we're at a good, comfortable spot. Somewhere between what we've got and 15 is, I think that's pretty good.
You were saying 6 for a year?
Yeah, I mean,
If we're doing a lot of shows and we're doing a lot of other stuff, yeah, I could see that. Like 6 singles while we do, like, if we got super busy with it, doing like a tour or something.
yeah, 6. Like, you just never know, and like, there's no reason we can't get 6.
Yeah.
I would love to get 15, but that's it could be tough.
Yeah, and I think it depends a lot from song to song how much time we want to spend on it and how complex it is.
Well,
and
So some of my thinking is that like how much, and I'm not asking for like a answers, like you don't have to answer. I'm just saying think about it. Okay? How much of our time, like for the first part of this year, like both since you and Kevin have been on and before, has been like in putting the project together, right? It's been I'm not saying it's been like most of the year, but it's been a decent portion of the time, right? Like figuring out how we're going to do this, what our theme is, so on and so forth. If we were able to do 10 while doing all of that, if we just stay with what we have now, in my opinion, 15 is a pretty fair, like, we should be able to hit that because, like, it's just as much work creating the brand, and we don't have to do that this time.
yeah, for surely. 12 song album,
Think
a
about
couple singles,
think
that's
of-
doable.
think about it like this, though.
12-song album and a couple singles.
Think about it.
100%.
Think about it like this, though. That's more than a song a month, on average. And you start throwing in shows, content days, and everything else, and I mean, it'll be tough.
Yeah, I don't think falling a little short of that is an issue, especially if it's a complex idea and we need and want to put more thought and time into structuring it out and finding those little background melodies and crap like that.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I think I've grown like tenfold as a musician, just as a whole, not just as a guitar player. I think I have a better understanding of how music works since being in the band and actually, working those gears. If you just sit on an idea and play with it over and over and over again, it grows on its own just from you fiddling with it. So sometimes letting it brew is good.
For sure. I'm actually glad. It's cool to hear you say that. It's a good feeling when you feel like you're like growing as a musician, you know.
Yeah, it's great. I was telling a family member, I feel like Cthulhu sometimes when stuff just starts coming together on its own. I'm like, what is happening in front of me?
Like the stars are aligning,
Yeah.
taking you out of your slumber.
I think for like for being able to get out music in this time frame, like in a year, I do think as long as we are putting out something every once in a while, that's gonna set us up for success. We just have to be filling that time that we're not putting stuff out there with something else. So like shows
Yep.
and similar things would be filling up a large portion of that space.
Yeah, I guess it's just almost like a little bit of a behind the scenes on like a band there's I said like again, a band discussion.
We're at 17 now.
17 right now.
Yes, including the ones that I've said.
Dang, I'm surprised you caught the ones that you've said. That's very meta of you, Chris. Anyway, 15 is a hefty goal. I'd like to get there. My personal view on it, I'll say this, is if we could do 10, adding in content days, shows, and the busyness that is going to start to happen over the next year, then we've done really well. It's like an album a year. But 15, hey, I'm willing to shoot for that too. My bare minimum though in my mind is 6.
I'm in the same boat there.
Yeah, I just think if we can do 10 now, then there's no reason that we can't do 10 next year. To me, we had more stuff to form this year.
Yeah, I think the only thing that matters is I joked about it when we first brought it up, but just staying relevant with the local scene and with the the fan base overall. Even if we could have a year where we release no songs, as long as we're doing shows and remaining active online and doing stuff to keep up. I don't think it's a problem, especially if we're really cooking on something good.
I'm with you there in a way, because like if nobody knows who you are, then everything is new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not a lot of people know who we are yet. So if they come to our 10 songs, those are 10 new songs from us that they don't know anyway.
Yeah, and
too.
they'll be new for a while.
Right.
To most of the people, if we're playing a new spot, it's new music to all of them that they've never heard before, and it's like it just dropped that day. So
Yeah.
we could make it work. However we swing it, I think.
Yep.
Did I say like Chris?
No.
Oh yes,
You've not said
yes.
You've not said it yet. At least not that counts. I think, yeah, as long as we're doing shit that keeps people's attention in one way or another, we will always be able to keep a fan base. We'll always be able to keep someone, like, interested, graceful. But, yeah, we can always keep people interested.
I'm just over here dropping my items like a Minecraft character.
Graceful.
Listen. I'm trying, Chris. I'm trying.
Hey, you haven't said like yet, at least.
Like, I'm trying.
That counts. You've not said a like that counts. You gotta bump those numbers up somehow, though, I guess.
So, so we had a video shoot here recently too. I guess that'll probably be the last thing we talk about. I don't. Hey Luke, you think it's too early to release the name of the song?
What, Beef of Mine?
No, the one we shot the video for. Yeah, it's too early to release the name of the song, but
Secrets.
secret.
Secret song.
But I will say this: we shot it at a skate park in Newport, Kentucky, and it rained, and it was cold, and yeah, I was the first one to shoot. I was the first one that was shot.
I was late, like I am to everything in my life.
Lance is always late, so that's no surprise. But I shot first. I was on like this podium. It's actually worked out really well, don't you think? Yeah, I mean it was like the perfect spot for a drum set. And as we got there, it was probably like 45 degrees. As I was setting up, the forecast showed rain, and it showed it went like right as we got there, but it didn't rain. There was no rain. I got on. Probably took me 15 minutes to set up, and did the drum shots for probably 20 minutes. And then literally, as soon as I was done, like maybe 2 minutes after I was done, it started pouring. And yeah, it was a Chinese fire drill to get all of the equipment off the stage.
Everyone became a roadie at that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Was there even any disassembling going on, or were you just madly carrying the cymbals?
Luke, actually, I would just break down the cymbals and be like, okay, back seat, left side, or like, and then we'd get the stands, and I'd be like,
Army call out.
yeah, back seat, left side, and then they're okay, that's the right side of the trunk.
So you mean to tell me that the vocalist was actually carrying shit for once?
The vocalist, I'm here to report that the vocalist actually carried shit, drums into the car.
Dude,
Correct.
no fucking way.
It's crazy. But yeah, that is my little nugget from this video shoot. You guys got any?
That's really cool. It sucks that I missed that. Damn. Missed the cool bits.
For me,
We got in the bowl, Chris.
Yeah, we got in the bowl. That was the thing for me.
I felt like a Captain Crunch.
I also almost I almost slipped on multiple surfaces throughout that entire photo
Yeah,
shoot.
that was
It was a slick.
that was
skate
interesting.
park.
We basically did parkour.
Yeah. We got the sacred texts.
Yeah, I was gonna say the skate park was cool, but we did roam around and get a few other locations in there. We went on the streetcar for a bit, and on our way out, we received the most boomer poem I've ever read, and I gave it to Chris. He almost lost it. It was like a 90s Hallmark movie scene. It falls out of his pocket, and the wind sticks it to my leg. We were meant to have it.
Yeah, there was a lot of. Somebody's has to have seen that before. I'm sure that's like a thing.
It's gotta
Santa
be.
thing.
It's gotta be. It was just a vulgar Christmas poem.
A lot about Santa's private parts. So we'll just.
Like a random person?
Yeah, as we got out of the elevator, he just walked up to me and handed it to me, and he said, "Don't throw this away. You gotta read this."
Welcome to America.
Yeah.
Welcome to America. So I did want to bring something up. It's like kind of a dual thing. So like one is like if you've been following if you've been following Pale Twin from the beginning of even before we did these podcasts, we have been talking about just some of the stuff that we've all dealt with personally, and I wanted to kind of go back. We had something happen recently, and I know it's something that I've personally dealt with my whole life, and I know that if it would have been nice to hear like that another musician or another person who is doing what I wanted to do had dealt with this. Last week when we were getting ready to record the podcast, I actually had a tonic-clonic seizure, which is what's called a grand mal seizure. And, obviously that ended the night. We had to deal with that in a lot of different ways. But I didn't want to bring that up to go through that specific experience again, but I am sorry you guys were all here for that, because all these guys were here for that. But I more wanted to talk about, like, for people with epilepsy, for people who are friends of someone with epilepsy. It's not something that gets talked about a lot, and I would love to, just say, like, that's something that happened. It's something that happened, and here we are. We're on to the next week. We're moving on. It's not the end of the world. And as you guys are great friends who helped me in that situation. If we could speak to it a little bit, I think it could be helpful for a lot of people, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy experience, but I'm glad you pushed through it and you're okay. But there's a silver lining to everything and an opposite side to every coin, right? You can get through anything if you keep your chin up. So
I think the main thing with it is just being aware of things like that. If you see signs that something's about to, happen in that vein, like, if you know that someone has a condition that they are unable to really do anything to stop, for instance, epilepsy, if you see something happen that catches your attention at all, just be ready to help. And if you have a friend who, has a condition like that, it's good to know a thing or two about that condition and how to help them.
I'm glad you're okay. And it looked painful, but I'm glad you're okay.
I appreciate it. Part of the reason I wanted to talk about this a little bit was I'm telling you from the perspective of somebody. I've had epilepsy. I had infantile epilepsy, and then it came back in my teens, and I've had just generalized epilepsy since then, right? And I'm telling you, like, from someone who's had it, a big part of it is you try to hide it because, it's such an odd thing. You know what I mean? And, like, I think I could have it managed better at this point, have had less seizures, all that stuff, if it was something that I had actually heard about before, whether it was somebody that I listened to with music or like a thing on television or whatever, because it was just such a thing. Like, I had never heard about anybody having it but me, that it was like, it was easier to just like stuff it back on the shelf than actually deal with it. You know what I mean? And like I think there's probably other shit like that too. Like, I don't think that's an epilepsy thing. I think that's like, there's probably a lot of shit like that, right?
yeah, I was gonna say I kind of relate to that in some sort of way. I got diagnosed with diabetes at 19. So before that, I was like invincible. I could do whatever the hell I wanted, and now I can't. And it comes out in weird ways. Like you see me sitting down at my warehouse job eating Nutter Butters at the end of the dock. I know somebody on that dock is looking at me like, look at that fucker sitting down there while I'm working my tail off. I know some of them feel that way, but it's because they just don't know. You can't help that. But it definitely, seeing your situation in that light definitely made me appreciate the amount of control that I have in managing my illness, because I have a lot tighter grip on it than something like that. So, but I mean, as long as you take care of yourself, I think even with things like that accosted upon you, you can still accomplish insane things.
And I really appreciate that. I will say, in my experience, and I cannot speak for people, but like other people with epilepsy, but I'm a member of a lot of groups, of updates and stuff like that, and so there are people with horrific epilepsy where they have multiple seizures a day, kind of thing, and they offer like brain surgery and implants and stuff like that for things like that now. Lucky for me, the type of epilepsy I have is if I stay up on my medicine and my sleep and diet, and I'm just generally taking care of myself, I don't have a lot of issues, and I'm really lucky in that sense. But it is something that I have to keep an eye on, and everybody's epilepsy is different, But I just know that like I said, when I was getting older, and I lived in a small town, in fairness, or at least I went to school in a small town up in Oregonia, in Ohio, a graduating class of 70, right?
Damn.
But nobody had epilepsy. It wasn't a thing I could be what is your epilepsy like? It was.
Yeah.
So, but no, the only reason I wanted to bring that up is just because I hope that there's maybe a young musician or producer or somebody that it's when nobody in your family and none of your friends have epilepsy, it's kind of hard. And that's kind of like what you said with with your diagnosis as well.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody has a little bit of something. And to just know that there's somebody out there.
Yeah, it's not something I ever thought I'd relate to, but I mean, I do now. Every time you see a commercial or somebody doing something and they've got that tag on the back of their arm, I do. It immediately goes off. Hey, just like me, for real.
I think just in general, I feel like it's good knowing that you have a support system like that, where you can, it's good knowing that you have a support system of people around you who know and are willing to help you with certain things when you need it, especially with things such as epilepsy, diabetes, that sort of thing, where sometimes things happen that are kind of difficult to control or impossible to control.
Yeah,
You
shit
might,
just
you know,
shit
you
just
might-
happens.
You might need a helping hand, so it's good
Having
to
a
have that.
safety net is really important.
So I have a question. I honestly don't know. Is the diabetes genetic?
Not mine, no.
Okay.
I remember I went in because I was almost in a coma when I was wheeled into the emergency room. I just let it. I didn't know what was going on.
How old were you?
I was 18 and a half, or maybe I'd already turned 19. I was already 19. September of 2019. I had been just ill, and I didn't know why, because like you were mentioning, no one around me was diabetic.
Yeah.
No one in my family was diabetic, so it didn't even register to me that you might have diabetes. But I was showing all the signs in hindsight, right? I was super thirsty all the time, stuff like that. But I was just getting sicker and sicker and sicker until I should have called an ambulance, but I waited for a ride. We went to the hospital, and they told me it was just I don't even know what to call it, a defect. I don't know. My
That's
immune
what they used
system
to
went
call 'em.
hog wild. Don't know what else to call
Probably
it.
had a seizure. You probably had a seizure.
Something went on. Some misfire. Some friendly fire happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super strange because, like I said, I was invincible all growing up. I hardly ever got sick. I never broke any bones. I could do whatever I wanted, not eat for however long, stay up for any length of time, but after that it was like I was a whole different person, and tackling that was a unique mental battle that I've never faced before that, so I wasn't prepared at all.
Yeah, my great grandma was epileptic. I think that's where I got it from. And like epilepsy is different. There's infantile epilepsy, which is what I'm hoping my daughter, like, 'cause she had a couple seizures like early on, and if like that can happen, and if it goes away by 5 years old and never comes back, that's just considered infantile epilepsy. It's a lot more common than generalized epilepsy because it's like their brain is forming and stuff like that. And then there's, some people have epilepsy every day of their life, their whole life, like what I was talking about earlier. What I've had is like I had infantile epilepsy, then it went away, came back like when I hit puberty and got better, and then like came back over the last like 3 or 4 years kind of thing. And I like sorry. I'm sorry.
I was gonna ask you, Lance, when you first got diagnosed with diabetes, was like one of the hardest parts changing your lifestyle?
Kind of, because like I said, when I was growing up, I could do whatever I wanted, so that manifested in I didn't take care of myself. So if I went without eating for extended periods of time with diabetes, that'll screw you up. And then just more stuff to pay attention to. That's the big thing that got me. I didn't have to change the way I ate too much. If anything, they wanted me to eat more. I remember the dietitian told me, normally we put people on really restrictive diets, but you're like 90 pounds, so eat whatever you want. Just take your medicine. And that's pretty much the equation I'm left with now, is as long as I'm taking the medicine I need to take, I'm all right. But it was a big change.
I'm gonna ask you more about that later. So you've always had your epilepsy, Luke, from basically the time you were born?
Yeah, so like I had infantile epilepsy. Now, one thing that is kind of interesting about that, and I don't know, but I had a kind of serious head injury as an infant. Fell off the bed like onto like one of those air vents, like those you know what I'm talking about, like those little, where it's like an iron vent you can twist and it opens up. And that happened like when I was 1, and I had never had any episodes before that. So there's some like did that create an issue? But after that, I had a couple episodes or whatever you want to call them, and then by the time I was 4, it had completely stopped, and I didn't have any other ones until I was like, I had like a freak one like at 7 or 9 or something like that, but no other ones. And then once I went into like 13, 14, 15, 16, like I started having them a lot. And like at that point, they were trying to figure out my medicine, what was causing it, like was it like they didn't know if it was lights, so I had to wear like certain type of like glasses. Like it was just it was the whole thing.
Yeah.
But and then like until very recently, it's been a lot better. So like, but I think epilepsy is one of those odd ones where I think it's literally different for every single person that has it. It's like, I think for some people it's completely controllable. For some people it's completely uncontrollable, or like it comes and goes, or it's just, you know what I mean? Like if you read about it, there's so many different cases. Like you do what you can, in my experience. Like like I always have to remind, be better and better about taking my medication. Like what Lance said, taking care of yourself. Like that's a big part of it.
Yeah, because there's nothing that you know for sure can stop the epileptic episodes.
100%. Yeah.
And you don't know when they're coming necessarily, so.
No.
Yeah.
And when you guys were here, I knew about what, like 10 seconds before it happened. Like
Yeah.
when I walked back there, like
The shaking.
Yeah.
The shaking.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's how it goes. And so, what are you supposed to do about that? All you can do is pregame, right? Like you just got to feel like you got your supplements, so to speak. But let's move on to a brighter subject. Do you guys have a favorite project of this year, whether it's a visual thing, an audio thing, a song that we did, a studio experience, whatever? Because I'm gonna surprise you guys, and I'm gonna be honest, because it's just the one that I feel the proudest of. It's the video for one of our newest. It's the video for one of our newest tracks, and I'm not gonna but it's coming out very soon. And like out of everything we've done, it's so cool to see the progress up into that. AJ, do you know the one I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah. I've got a very good feeling I know what you're talking about.
But I think that would be my pinnacle of this year. What about you guys?
For me, the project that I'm most proud of, I'd say, would be, it would be one of the music videos that, one of the videos for one of the songs, but I can't say which right now. I feel like you know which one I'm talking about as well. Don't you, AJ? Putting you on the spot again, bud. You know which one I'm talking about, right?
I think so. I think it was the one we were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah, it's the one we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
Good job. Good job.
The cold, rainy one.
Yeah, cold, rainy one.
I would say my favorite was the Pop Culture Crash Out artwork. I really enjoyed doing that. I had a lot of fun doing that one.
It's a tough pick. Since I've showed up, we've done quite a bit of cool stuff. I really like the solos I got to do on the new songs. You guys will hear those soon. You got the first one with Spiraling. I really like that one. But I think the project as a whole that I'm most excited about and proud of is we did an acoustic track. It's going to be coming out, and that's the first song that the pillars of that one are all me. So that was a really cool experience, seeing one of my ideas blossom with the talented guys around me.
You crushed that. And also, I'm not just saying this, probably one of my top 3 favorite songs that we've done so far.
Oh shit.
Hyping it.
Hyping it up.
But no,
Thanks, man.
I don't even have to, because I know when that one comes out, people are gonna like that song.
That's a really good one. That's one I've been jamming in the car.
Dude. Not trying to sound, but that is a good song. Like, as a fan of music, I fuck with that song.
Yeah, and I've been sitting on those chords for so long, and with a lot of Kevin's riffs that we've turned into songs, it's been the same deal with that. And I think that a lot of them have turned out so good because of that marination time. It doesn't have to be years like we've let it be. Maybe don't let it sit quite that long, but letting an idea brew and develop like that and grow limbs, and it becomes its own thing without you really even having to push it in a certain direction.
Yeah, fair enough.
Music is a living thing. Type beat.
So, you guys think that's about a good time to call it? We're at about an hour. You got anything more you want to talk about, Luke?
I mean, where are you guys at?
I'd say this is a good point. As long as we also mention Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Couple things first. How many times did we say like?
So with some of the topics we talked about, I kind of blanked on counting for a little bit, but from what I could count, we were at, I'd say 42 beforehand, and I think I counted about. We got around 50. We got around 50.
50. Around 50. We said like around 50 times. If you guys, if somebody's out there is really, really dedicated, could go back in and tell us how many times that we said like in this podcast, and put it in the comments. I know that's a lot to ask, but hey, if somebody's up to the challenge, go for it. All right, guys. Well, that's it for us this time around, this podcast. We appreciate all of you who listen and take your time to get to know us better. Reach out to us, comment, send us an email, or, message us on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. But yeah, we really appreciate you guys, and being that it's December 23rd, Merry Christmas to everybody out there, and hope you guys have a good one.
Never knew that I could be so lonely. Now the devil in my mind